In this timeline, Alastor was trapped, just like in canon. And he had a plan to have Vox beat him, and probably have Vox become stronger than him. Because he believed in him, even though he mocked him. But what if he was honest for the first time in his life? What if he actually asked for help? This was a long shot. But he had to do it. Now, Rosie probably told him he couldn't do this, but we're going to assume that she didn't think that far ahead because Alastor is very prideful, so she assumed he wouldn't ask for help. As then, Alastor went to the hotel and would talk to Charlie privately. As Alastor say, I know there's a lot going on, but I need your help. Charlie would say, 1 second. Alastor would say, please, someone owns my soul. Alastor would look at Charlie as Charlie looked back at him. She was going to do the interview no matter what. She had to fix the hotel's image. But Vaggie told her not to. And now Alastor has his soul owned. But redemption is possible. She had to... Oh, what the heck. Charlie would cancel as she walked over to Alastor and sighed. Maybe I should listen to Vaggie. Maybe I have been inconsiderate. But that stops now. I'm going to help you. So, what is this deal and how can I help? Alastor would say, well, when I was alive, as Alastor would talk with Charlie, Charlie would talk with Alastor. As Charlie and Alastor talked and talked, Alastor told her why he did it, the things that he's done. And well, recently Charlie probably shouldn't help him because, well, he did this to himself and he was a straight up killer. But Charlie believed in redemption for everyone, and the fact that Alastor trusted her meant something. So she would say, all right, what do we have to do? Alastor would say, the deal was I'm the strongest sinner. So if a sinner became more powerful than me, Charlie would say, then you would be free. Huh. Or we could just destroy Rosie. I'm sure you and your father could. Charlie would say, I'm not going to kill Rosie. Alastor would say, are you sure? I mean, if you did, you could free potentially lots of other. Charlie would say, no. That goes against everything here. We're not doing that. We only killed to defend ourselves. Come on now. As in, Charlie would take Alastor away, and they would have to think of a plan to make someone stronger, to make someone more powerful than themselves. At least stronger than Alastor, but who? And who could they trust with such power? Alastor suggested Vox, but Charlie would say, hell no. As then, Charlie and Alastor would look for someone. They thought about giving Angel the power, but he could just go on a rampage and attack Valentino, which would be great, but also kind of bad for business and may start a war with Vox Tech because Vox Tech owns a bunch of things. So yeah, they need to find a sinner they can trust with it. Vaggie is a fallen angel. She might count as a sinner. I honestly don't know. So we're just going to assume she doesn't. Nifty is too insane. Husk, maybe. That could be a good option. But he cares about angels, so he might go attack Vox. Also, he might attack Alastor since Alastor controls his soul. So he's out of the picture. So then they would search and look for someone. Someone who could be trusted with it. Someone who could obtain such higher powers without destroying everything. As Alastor would say, this is hard. Charlie would say, yeah, I know it is, but we'll find someone eventually. Alastor would say, you sure you can increase someone's power? I can't, but my dad can. As Alastor would say, no. Charlie would say, what do you mean no? I'm not giving any faith to your father. Charlie would say, why do you hate him so much? I don't get it. You trust me enough to tell me. Why do you hate him? I understand he challenges you and, well, Alastor would say, because he's the opposite of me. He has amazing power and just left and did nothing with it. I was given my power and I've been on a leash and fighting my best to do everything I needed. And he just sits there and wallows in his own shame. How? How could someone waste so much potential? How could someone be so much better than me and not do anything with it? As Charlie would say, wow, you really opened up. That's great therapy. Alastor would say, shut it. Are you going to help me or not? Or were this one giant mistake? Charlie would say, actually, I think we can do this. Besides, Lucifer would love to make a deal with you. Alastor would say, last time I made a deal with someone who's stronger than me, you know what happened. Come on, please. Alastor would sigh as he would go to Lucifer with Charlie. As Lucifer would say, yes? Oh, he's here. Why is he here? Lucifer would stare right at Alastor. Alastor would say, huh, Happy to see me as always. Are you here because you're a loser? Are you here because you're a failure? Are you here? Yes, I am. Actually, wait, what? You're gonna admit it? Well, that makes my job easier. Charlie would say, Dad, you're not helping. Alastor would say, if you help me, I'll leave the hotel and never see your daughter again. Charlie would say, what? But I'll miss you. Ha! Deal, Lucifer would say. As in, Charlie looked sad. Lucifer would say, how about you just don't work at the hotel? Oh, you care about your daughter. Fine. I'll see Charlie every once in a while, but I won't try to be her father. Lucifer would say, works for me. Anyway, so what's your predicament? Alastor would say, Rosie owns my soul. As he would explain everything, Lucifer would say, wow, you had a plan. Explains why you were so strong, why you were so mad that someone was stronger than you. As he patted his head, Alastor would then sigh and say, get to the point. Lucifer would say, well, Lil's probably stronger than you. She can beat you, but we haven't really been able to get in contact with her. So, I guess I'll just have to make a sinner strong enough to defeat you. I'll find someone. Give me a week. As Lucifer flew away, Alastor would say, I don't have a... As then he just sighed. Alastor would mope for the whole week. As Lucifer would come into the door, Alastor would say, did you finally find someone? Lucifer would say, yep, and I think you might actually like this person. I found someone who wouldn't kill you and wouldn't cause too much trouble. At least for the most part. Kind of reminds me of Nifty almost. Alastor would say, what did you just do? As then Emberlyn would walk in and say, hey, oh, demon lords are so hot. As then Alastor would say, really? This is just a knockoff Nifty. No, she's different. Nifty is cleans and stuff. She's obsessed and writes fanfics. Which Nifty, I don't think Nifty does. Maybe she does. But hey. Just give me the power. I'll fight him and save you. And then maybe you'll marry me for it. As Alastor would say, really? This is your only option, Lucifer would say. As Alastor would sigh and would say, fine. As Lucifer would hold Emberlyn's hand, suddenly she would feel power, massive power, surge through her. As Emberlyn would then get all of her power, she would punch Alastor, sending him flying. As Lucifer would say, you have to fight her with all you got before you lose. Alastor would say, I know. As then his tentacles would try to grab her. She would say, oh, tentacles. Ooh, this is just like hentai. Alastor would say, you could not have picked a worse person. I hate you. As then Emberlyn would destroy it and bite it, eating it like sushi with an iron stomach. As an Alastor would say, well, that's new. As then she would kick him to the ground on his scar, causing him to feel amounts of pain. As they continued the fight, she was simply too strong, too fast. As Alastor and Emberlyn fought, Alastor gave it his all. He tried to defeat her. He felt humiliated by this. Even though he needed this to be free, his ego was hurt. But she was simply too powerful. As he was defeated, he would feel a weight lifted from him. As green lightning would strike him, as suddenly he would be free. Now, would he lose his powers if he was given freedom? I don't know. And if so, he probably should have thought that through. But for this scenario, we're just going to say he doesn't. As Alastor would stand up and be like, well, that was something. As then Lucifer would say, yep, what are you going to do with your freedom now? Alastor then smirk and say, I think you already know. As Alastor would then walk away. As he walked and walked and walked, he would see Cannibal Town and Rosie's house. As he would burn it to the ground while she was out, and write F you and fire. As then we cut to Rosie, as she would see that and be pissed. Alastor! Now that you're free, you think you can pick on me? You have another thing coming. But that'll be a tale for another day. And that's going to leave things off. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Let me know if you thought of this video down below. I was watching season 2 and I thought of this idea. What if Alastor asked for Charlie to help him? I don't know what she could do, but with the whole Vox thing, I think a sinner has to be stronger than him, and that's the whole rule. Because Vox beat him, but I think Alastor was holding back, so it didn't count. Maybe, or maybe he's free from Rosie right now. He's just under Vox, which could be true. But I feel like if he did get free from Rosie, they would let us know. But he has a scar and he's weakened, and basically, I think that if Alastor chose Vox, because he could have chose anyone, right? Gestiel, any of the old overlords, but he chose Vox as his rival. I think that means he actually believes in Vox and see how strong he can be. And him being so hard on about relying on others is actually his own mistake, and he hates that he relied on Rosie, and he's trying to help Vox in his own misguided, twisted way. And when Vox realized this might change a lot, because I feel like Vox has a lot in him, and he might actually be redeemed. Charlie straight up said that anyone can be redeemed if they tried. I know Vox is very far gone, and there's no way Valentino's being redeemed, but honestly, with his obsession, when he finally gets what he wants, what is he going to do now? He's going to be empty. That's usually how obsession is. When you finally get something, you obsess over something new, or you just move on. So I actually kind of have high hopes for Vox. What do you guys think in the comments below? Let me know. Peace out.